Meet the Mets, meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really socking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS Mets of New York town. Oh, the butcher and the baker and the people on the streets, where do they go? To meet the Mets! Oh, they're hollering and cheering and they're jumping in their seats. Where do they go? To meet the Mets! All the fans are true to the orange and blue, so hurry up and come on down, 'cause we got ourselves a ball club, the Mets of New York town. Give 'em a yell! Give 'em a hand! And let 'em know you're rooting in the stand. Come on and meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really socking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS Mets of New York town, of New York town.
Mets fans, welcome back to Talking Mets at Rob with a Mets Watch Party live right here on the channel. We are going to get started with a little bit of a Mets Watch Party pregame show. Mets face the Marlins today, and of course, the big news is that Edwin Diaz is making his return on the mound for the New York Mets after basically a full year since damaging that knee in the WBC. So we are here today to watch a little bit of Mets baseball. We got Tyler McGill on the mound against Trevor Rogers for the Marlins. Fourth start of the spring for Tyler McGill, which is a good sign for Tyler McGill, who is the one that has been pitching extremely well so far this spring. You know, I don't look crazy on the stats, but I do like to see his stuff that is on the mound, the way he pitches, the way he deals with a little bit of controversy, a little bit of pressure in regards to, you know, base runners and how he attacks the hitters. And Tyler McGill has been one of the better pitchers in the spring for the Mets. And the Mets pitching overall has, you know, according to ERA wise, has been really, really good and been top of the league in spring training. Again, I'm not going to go crazy that they're a full run better than everybody else in spring training wise. We know that spring training numbers don't matter, but it is nice to see that the pitchers like the Severinos, like the McGills, like the Manayas, like the Hausers of this rotation is pitching well. And the way that they're throwing those pitches and just everything that you want to see from these guys, mechanical wise, no tipping of the pitches from Severino. Manaya working on that new pitch and that new way of throwing that he learned in the lab last season, later in the year, that it's all coming to fruition right now in spring training. Again, you know, when they face the Braves, when they face the Phillies, when they face the Dodgers, you know, and face major league pitching and major league hitters, it can all change rather quickly. But it's nice to see that they're coming into form 2 weeks until spring training. That's where we are right now. The most important thing is to continue to remain healthy, let these pitchers stretch out their arms. You know, looks like Tyler McGill can get up to like 60, 65 pitches today, maybe even 70 in his fourth start of the season. The Mets will be having Diaz pitch today. He'll be pitching third out of the pen. So he'll be the third pitcher you'll see today. What inning that might be it depends on the pitch count of Tyler McGill and the pitcher that comes in before Edwin Diaz. Edwin Diaz is scheduled to pitch 20 pitches today. No more, no less. So that's a good sign. You get 20 pitches, stretching him out to about 2.5 weeks until spring train. Until opening day, and that's where we are right now with the Mets. But we got the lineups here today as well, as we'll go over that in a little bit. And once again, guys, if you are new to this live stream for the watch party, I will have game day up so you can follow the score, follow the at-bat, follow the pitching, follow the lineups, everything you need to look at on game day while you're on your phone. You can actually see it on the screen here. I will have the lineups on the screen to start the game. I will have the pitching matchup that you see here, but it will also be along with game day as well. And, of course, my little box on the bottom for instant reactions and have conversations with you guys during the game, during the with the chat as well. So if you're new to this, hang out, enjoy, watch the game. Again, we'll get into the game. We won't watch the whole game. I won't be live during the whole game. Again, just slowly spreading out the game. Probably go 5 or 6 innings here. The main point of this live stream is to see the Diaz outing. That's the most important thing right now, as the first time we'll see him since last year. So it's a good sign for the Mets. Just remain everybody healthy as well. Let me just pull up the lineup for the Mets so we can have an idea of who is on who is playing today that we can see, which is always fun. Spring training. Baseball game 15 for the Mets. Just give me 1 second and I'll pull it up for you guys and tell you. Again, the pitching matchup is McGill and Rogers, as you see on your screen. For the New York Mets, you got Brandon Nimmo leading off playing left field. You got Francisco Lindor playing shortstop, batting second. Pete Alonso playing first base, batting third. Francisco Alvarez catching and batting fourth. Starler Marte playing right field, batting fifth. Brett Beatty playing third base, batting sixth. Mark Vientos DH and batting seventh. Joey Wendell playing second base, batting eighth. And to finish up the lineup, Harrison Bader batting ninth and playing center field. So that is your lineup for today. Again, I see a lot of these guys probably get two at-bats at most, maybe 3 for the majority of the guys in the lineup. Again, Tyler McGill is probably going to go between 60 and 70 pitchers today, as this is his 4th start of the season, of the spring training so far. So you're not going to see him throw a ton of pitches, but you're going to see a good part of the game where I think you can probably get around 5 innings, around if he goes around 10 to 15 pitches per inning, and he should get around 5 or 6 innings. Again, he's been very, very good this spring training, which is nice to see. It's a guy that struggled tremendously last year, and the Mets really needed him last year when Verlander and Scherzer went down, and Quintana for that matter. But it's nice to see that he's pitching well, and I think Tyler McGill is a guy that is not going to, be a top-line starting pitcher, but he's a guy that has shown in the past how good he can be when he's on. I think the confidence is a big deal with him. And with that new kind of weird pitch that he throws between a splitter and a forkball, it's all over the place what he's throwing. But that pitch has been working so far in spring. And we'll have to wait and see, because I do like the fact that the pitchers that we are concerned about, let's be honest, the Severinos of the world who had a terrible season last year, Sean Manaea, who is okay, but is still a guy that hasn't had that success like he had in Oakland. Jose Quintana, I think everybody believes could be a really solid pitcher for us as long as he remains healthy. We know the Senga injury, and Hauser has been really good as well. His last out, he was perfect in 3 1/3 inning with 5 strikeouts, no runs, no walks. That's the important thing that we're seeing. We're seeing consistent, good outings from these starters. And again, quality starts. That's what you need in Major League Baseball today. Of course, you want your gems every now and then, but as of right now, the way the Mets rotation is going to work out, at least for the first 3 to 4 weeks until Senga comes back, you're looking for quality starts. Quality starts, 2 to 3 runs, 5 to 6 innings. That is a quality start. You get that, you give your offense a chance to win ball games. And that's where I think this offense, who I believe is not as bad as people are actually saying. Like, I think it's pretty good. I don't think it's, it's not a juggernaut, But, you're looking at a healthy Marte, who is a guy who is a hit machine, right? He'll hit well above average. He'll be at 270, 280. He got some pop in his bat. And if he remains healthy, he is a pure hitter, right? Alonso, you expect Alonso to hit to the back of his baseball card. Lindor, McNeil when he comes back. Nimmo to be Nimmo. That's 4 or 5 guys already, and that's not including Francisco Alvarez, who is already hitting the cover off the board in spring training, and you think he's going to take that next step offensively where he can hit 25 to 30 home runs and hopefully get that average up to 230, 240, and now you're really talking about 5 or 6 guys in your lineup that can do damage offensively and, put a little bit of a cherry on top. If Vientos or Beatty show a little bit of something, now you're talking about a lineup that's 7, possibly 8 deep, where they're not going to be, a great offensive team, but if they can be a solid offensive team where you're 6, 7 deep, and now you're really talking about an offense that can score 4 to 5 runs per ball game, and that's where you need to be to win games in Major League Baseball. You don't have to score 6 or 7 runs a ball game like the Dodgers and Braves. That would be nice, but you don't have to do that to win ball games in Major League Baseball. If you can hold your opponents to 3 to 4 runs, you should be able to win most games. Again, it's not the perfect, it's not, a perfect, answer and perfect way of writing it in and say, oh, this is how you win a ball game. There's many different ways. Your bullpen can be dominant. Your starting pitch can be mediocre, right? We talked about the Phillies yesterday on Spring Training Talk Live. We talked about the Phillies, right? The Phillies starting pitching wasn't very good. It was mediocre at best. But their bullpen was outstanding during the season. And their offense, which if you really look at the numbers overall and runs per game, they were very similar to the Mets offense. And you wouldn't have thought that because they hit a ton of a hell of a lot more home runs. But you know what they didn't do well? Situational hitting. Runners in scoring position. If they weren't hitting home runs, they weren't scoring. That hurt their overall performance offensively. Yet a team like the Mets that struggled to hit for power, other than Alonso and Lindor, was still able to score a little above 4 runs per game. And that's interesting as well, considering the fact that you can actually win ball games in many ways. Again, I'm not breaking news here, guys. You guys are smart. You guys are smart baseball fans. You understand that there's many ways to win baseball games. The Mets in 2022, right, was mostly pitching that really done a lot of the work in 2022. The offense was pretty good, but they weren't scoring more runs per game that they were in 2023. It was very similar. They just did it in different ways. And the same thing with this Mets team, where I think a lot of people are confident or at least feel good about the bullpen. And if the rotation gives you quality outings and you got the majority of your rotation going out there every 5th day consistently and remaining healthy, they're going to give you at least slightly above average starts. And that's what you need in Major League Baseball now. Again, Major League Baseball, unfortunately, I love my starting pitchers to go 7 or 8 innings. It's not the 90s anymore. It's not the early 2000s. It's just not what it is anymore. A 5 or 6 inning outing, it's considered a good start when you give up 3 or 4 runs. That's just the way it is. Analytically, 3 or 4 runs should give your team a chance to win offensively. It's just that simple. Even bad offenses score 3.5 runs per game. Really bad at the bottom of the league are scoring 3.5 runs per game. And it's a run here or there difference that really determines a lot of these games. And it's interesting to look at, but it's still ways to win ball games when your team is not an offensive juggernaut, right? The Mets have things going against them. We know that, right? It's not an elite rotation. Their lineup, which I don't think is that bad, considering the fact that if your core 4 does your job and plays at the back of the baseball cards, it'll be fine. No problem. And if the rotation stays, for the most part, healthy, and they're just on SNY right now, they're showing the lowest team ERA in spring, And that's overall ERA between bullpen and starting pitching, 2.64. Again, that's great, but it means nothing, right? It really does mean nothing. Put that in the month of April, now we're having a different conversation. But we're not going crazy with that. And I don't think anybody should. There's some people on X that were really like, oh, look at the Mets pitching. Calm down. All right. Now, I like the way we look at it when it comes to an overall team, that what they're showing these pitchers is something that the Mets were talking about when they signed these guys, that they've seen a lot. They know the pitching lab has been working. They've been working on mechanics and pitching, and not specifically with Severino, not tipping his pitches. Little things like that, and a little bit of changes that either in the lab they figured out, or just by the naked eye seeing what's wrong with the pitcher, and they're putting in that work, and you see it being successful on the mound and on the field, means everything. That's the important part. And I know people are talking about J.D. Davis. Again, I was always a big fan of J.D. Davis. I'm not saying he was a juggernaut or he was really good, but, he hit 18 home runs and 60-plus RBIs, which you didn't get that much from that DH spot, or even third, even though I don't like him at third base, but he would probably be a pretty good DH, considering the fact what the Mets have shown so far with Vientos and Beatty right now, specifically Vientos, if you're going with the DH spot. But I don't look. J.D. Davis, you can get him on a minor league deal if you want to, but I think there's a team out there that's probably going to give him, a major league deal. It might not be guaranteed, and he has to make the major league roster to get that guarantee, but still, it's still important to realize that you have to realize that the Mets bringing in J.D. Davis is taking at bats from Vientos and Beatty. And I know a lot of Mets fans don't like to hear that, including myself. I can care less. Just get the job done. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Joe Schmo on the street. If the guy can hit, the guy can play the position, I'm all for it. But you also have to realize that the philosophy and the way the Mets are going about it, specifically with David Stern's philosophy, is they want to give Vientos and Beatty the chance to win a job. And let's be honest, they have not. They haven't shown me anything to say he deserves the job, because I don't think either one of them do. And the same goes for DJ Stewart. Same thing. I don't like the way DJ Stewart has been playing. He's a guy that I think, because he has an option, is probably going to end up in the minor leagues on opening day, and probably one of the other guys, a Trace Thompson, a Choi, is probably going to take that spot. And we'll see. There's a lot to see over the next 2 weeks. There's still bullpen. Lavender is a guy that is not on the 40-man, but can definitely make that opportunity. I mean, is on the 40-man, but he's a guy that hasn't been pitching really well. The Mets going to carry 3 lefties. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch over the next 2 weeks, because the roster is not set yet. And usually when you're going into spring training, especially with a team that you think can be competitive or can be contenders, there's not a lot of spots available. But there is, because the Mets are really putting the Vientos and Beatty competition to a head at third base. So that means that DH spot is probably available from the left side. And that's where DJ Stewart comes in. That's where Choi comes in. That's where even Trace Thompson comes in, even though he's right-handed. If somebody is performing well, they deserve to be on this roster. I don't care if somebody's a fan favorite like DJ Stewart. If you're not doing your job and you basically are showing exactly what you've done in your major league career, and that's failing, you don't deserve to be on the roster. I'm sorry. I'm sick and tired of giving guys roster spots that don't deserve it. If somebody's performing in a competition for a certain position, or a spot on the bench, or a spot on the bullpen, or rotation, you deserve to be in that spot and take that spot over. Now, if you get into the first couple of weeks of the season in April and you're not doing your job, then you bring up the other guy that was replaced by him. That's it. It's simple. And because DJ Stewart has that option, I think you're going to see DJ Stewart, unless he goes crazy offensively over the next 2 weeks, I think he's going to end up in the minors, and you're going to see Trace Thompson or Choi being a part of this roster on the bench. So we'll see. Yeah, Miguel, I'm sick and tired of giving Vientos opportunity. Like, opportunity, he batted what, 212? Right? And in spring training, he just doesn't look good. He connects on a ball here and there, but he just doesn't look good. Austin Adams has been good as well. Again, it's going to be interesting though, because we don't know what the Mets are really looking for those bullpen spots, right? We don't know if they're looking for a guy that's a hard thrower that can get out lefties and righties, not just a guy that can get out one side of the plate. But if you're just looking at guys who are just performing well, and you're going to take, the best guys that had the best spring, then it can be Lavender, it can be Adams, because Lavender and Adams has outperformed Jorge Lopez and Fujinami to this point, even though Lopez and Fujinami only had two performances so far. So you're not going to go crazy in that aspect. But if Fujinami still has problems with location and walking the ballpark, and Lopez, who is another one that can't find the plate, but you see Lavender and Adams pitching well, do you give them those spots? But, Fujinami and Lopez, as soon as you sign them, you see, wow, I can see these guys in the bullpen right away. But if they don't look good in spring training, now, again, it's only 2 or 3 outings. I'm not going crazy with them. But those are guys that have issues with walking batters and just throwing the ball over the place, can't throw strikes. You can't have that in the middle of your bullpen. You just can't. You can't give this bullpen a lead and have guys in the middle of your middle relief, giving up leads, and then the ball's not going to Edwin Diaz with a lead, which is the most important thing. Yeah, Lavender Woodsick. I did see him in person as well. He looks good. All right, guys. So make sure you hit on that like button. We got 5 minutes until game time. Once again, I will have game day up. I will have the SNY audio play-by-play by Steve Gelbs and Keith Hernandez. So you will hear the game stream. You will see game day up there, and you'll have my instant reaction in the corner there, along with the lineups and the pitching matchup. So if you just tune in, you know what the hell is going on. So I know a lot of people like JD Davis. Listen, I have no problem bringing JD Davis in, right? But it's hard to say because I do it. I like JD Davis. I think it was stupid to trade JD Davis when they did for Darren Ruff. I didn't think it made much sense. I think JD Davis was a guy who was comfortable here. Remember, at that year that they traded him, he had that wrist. Remember, he got hit in the hand in Philadelphia. And it took him a long time to let that hand heal and to get that full rotation in his wrist to swing the bat. And when he started to finally get healthy was around the same time the Mets traded him, when he started to pick it up offensively a little bit, and they traded him. Jose Iglesias, I think he's just a spring training invite. I don't think he's on the 40-man. He's another one. Would you be shocked if Jose Iglesias is a guy that takes a roster spot up and one of Vientos or Beatty ends up in the minors? Well, Mike, I don't know. Because what if the Mets surprise you and play pretty well? I'm not saying play great, but play pretty well, and they're right in the mix in June. I'm not bringing anybody up. If the Mets are playing well and the guys that are performing well are guys like Marte and Bader and McNeil. McNeil's not Nimmo's not playing center field. Unless there's major injuries, Nimmo is not playing center field. Nimmo is going to stay in left field because they're concerned about his injuries. It's not a coincidence that even with the Billy Epler regime last year, they moved Nimmo to left field. I believe that was always the plan for the Mets. Is that they were going to find a center fielder. Either it was a stopgap or waiting for Drew Gilbert or whatever on the center field that they had in the farm or free agency, whatever. Their plan was probably always moving Nimmo to left field. I think that was an organizational plan, and I think David Stearns agrees with that. Because Nimmo is vital for this team, especially offensively. If you don't have him healthy, that's a big hole in your lineup. That's a 270 average. That's 20 plus home runs that you're losing. That's a big deal. So I'm not going to be concerned about Gilbert, Acuna, Williams, any of them. I'm not worried about any of these guys until you get to that point when it might be necessary. Because as bad as the Mets were last year, they still went into June 1st, one game ahead in a wild card spot going into Philadelphia. So if the Mets are within range or in a wild card spot by June, you're not going to make changes unless there's injuries, unless there's somebody that's really not performing and you have to make a change at that position. What you just said, Mike, is your understanding that this team is dead in the water by June. But if you're dead in the water, why put Nimmo and risk him in center field when you can just leave him in left field? Gilbert will play center field. Marte and right. Acuna, yeah, you can put him at second base. You could do that. But that's 3 months down the road. All right, guys, so McGill is on the mound warming up, getting ready to pitch. Last year he had a 4.7 ERA, 25 starts, 126 innings, 58 walks, 105 strikeouts, a 1.58 whip. 8 innings in the spring, 4 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, and 13 strikeouts in spring training so far. He's probably going to pitch around 4 or 5 innings, in my opinion, depending on how many pitches. I think I was reading that they're going to go around 60 to 70 pitches. It could be hard-earned pitches. We'll see. So, all right, guys, I'm going to set up game day right now, and I'm going to put the volume up. So give me 1 second, and we'll be ready to go, guys. Here we go. Give me 1 second. All right, guys, there we go. Let me know in the comments if you can hear the TV and hear the sound of the game, and we'll be ready to go as soon as they start.
71 degrees, folks. It's cool for Florida. Wind blown in from right field. I was watching batting practice earlier today, and I did not see one ball go out of the ballpark. Well, I've always said this is a big ballpark. It's 330 down the lines and 405 in dead central. It's a big park. And when the wind's blowing, you really got to crush one when you go into the teeth of the wind. And that looks very nice. Keep the baby happy. It's hungry. That's what that.
All right, guys, here we go.
And then the dad getting fed.
All right, here we go. First pitch coming up.
Luis Arraez leading off for the Marlins against Tyler Megill. First pitch of the evening is a ball outside, and we're underway.
McGill throwing 95 right out the gate.
With Tyler Megill, but he's facing a lefty, and Luis Arraez, as good as they come, 354 batting average last season, became the first player in Major League history to winning batting titles in both leagues in back-to-back seasons. Did it the year before with the Twins.
Woo.
And the cutter. That's what we're looking for in Tyler Megill.
That's a nice cutter in on the ankles.
That you mentioned off the top. The splitter and the cutter, which he's been throwing a lot.
Uh-oh. Channel went out. Oh, boy. Hold on, guys. Yeah, SNY is kind of in and out right now, guys. Apologize for that. Come on. Malfunction on SNY. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, they went to commercial. So so they went to commercial right away. So follow game day at the moment, guys. I guess that's why I had a little bit of a technical difficulty. So it looks like Arise hit a double off of Tyler McGill in game day. So once it comes back and they got everything together, we'll be ready to go. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Give me 1 second, guys. See if we can get some audio here. All right, guys, give me a second. All right. Everything's going wrong today. Everything's going wrong. All right. As soon as it comes back, guys, I apologize. Unfortunately, yeah. Oh, because see, I'm not the only one, right? It paused, right? Okay. Yeah. All right. So something happened with their broadcast because they're showing amazing Mets moments right now. Wow. All right, guys. So I guess they didn't want us to show the game. How nice. That's funny. Let's see. Give me a second, guys. Let's see if I can do something here. Let's see. See, does the MLB Network have it on? No, they got the. All right, guys. So unfortunately, the SNY broadcast kind of went out for some reason, and they're not showing a game at the moment. So, all right, guys. Just give me 1 second to see if I can get the radio situation going on here. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. Give me a second, guys. We're gonna work this out. Doing it on the fly, guys. So they're showing amazing home runs by Pete Alonso right now. Oh, God almighty. I tell you, guys. I tell you. Let's see if I can just get it on my phone. Maybe it'll work that way. Let's see. Maybe we'll get lucky. This is terrible, guys. Not the way I wanted it to happen, but what are you going to do? So as of right now, guys, the stream, the TV, SNY is, the broadcast just went away, which is not good, but what can you do? All right, guys, give me a second. Let's see if I can find something here for you. All right, guys. At least you can follow the game through that game day right now. Let's see. All right, guys, I'm gonna get it. I get it on the radio right now. There we go. I got the radio call.
Up and the count is 3 balls and 2 strikes. When I was in the Texas League with the affiliate of the Texas Rangers, the Frisco Rough Riders, we played a game against the Northwest Arkansas Naturals in Springdale, Arkansas. About the 5th inning, 6th inning, the lights went out, and they couldn't turn it back on. I said, all right, everybody, we'll see you tomorrow. Payoff pitch is on the outside corner. A fastball dotted up beautifully by Tyler McGill. He strikes out a hopping, temper tantrum-esque throwing Josh Bell for the first out. That was a very emphatic.
Yeah, SNY went out, guys. So I got the radio call on here right now.
Still up and running back there. I skipped a beat. CB Buckner behind home plate. So now Jake Berger, another acquisition by Kim Eng, who is a free agent herself right now. First pitch, Berger takes a little too far inside of the fastball, and count 1-0. Peter Bendix is now basically the president of baseball operations, the general manager of Miami, a front office member forever with the Tampa Bay Rays. But Eng, before she left in a playoff push, made some pretty good moves. 1-0. Berger takes a strike on the inside corner at the knees. So Tyler McGill has leveled the count. 2 ball and a strike. Top of the first inning, no score. Miami threatening. Luis Ariz leads off second base. He pulled a leadoff double down the first base line. Josh Bell is struck out. 1-1 on Jake Berger. Pitch way up high. It spins Berger around. And count 2 balls and a strike.
All right, we got 2 outs, guys.
Defensively for the Mets, Tyler McGill
Guy on second base.
Alvarez behind the plate. Brett Beatty at third. Francisco Lindor at short. Joey Wendell at second. Pete Alonso at first. Brandon Nimmo in left. Harrison Bader in center. Sonny Marte in right.
No, the Harvey's not doing the game.
Pitch. Swing and a miss. Good spinner off the outside corner by Tyler McGill. And the count 2-2. Now, McGill, where he is in spring, if you look at his numbers, which really you should probably never do in spring, but they're hard to ignore, he has pitched to a 1.08 ERA. He has struck out 14 batters in 8 innings. 2-2. Put a bouncy ball towards third. It backs up Beatty. The long throw overhand just in time to get Jake Berger for the second out. And Luis Suarez, the ball hit in front of him, cannot move any further from second base.
All right, 2 down.
So Tyler McGill, I guess that ERA goes down out by out, but it's one of those things, Pat, when you have bad results, you say, well, it's spring training. You have to say the same about good results, but hey, you got to take them. Yeah, I mean, think about Tyler last year. Remember, for so often early in the year, he was allowed so many base runners, and then would get a double play ball and get out of it. And we're seeing some really weak contact from McGill, and he's missing a lot of bats right now. First pitch to Jazz Chisholm Jr. is the breaking ball low. To count a ball and no strikes on Jazz. Skinny but strong left-hand hitter. Whereas number 2 in that Miami blue, really a teal that the Marlins wear. Infield swung around to the right. McGill from the stretch fires away. Strike on the outside corner, a fastball. That's 1-1. It's a slightly different teal though than like that throwback teal that looks so great for Miami. It's more of like an electric teal. Sure, yeah. Power surge is the key word of this top of the first anyway. It's the 1-1. Swing and a miss. That was the American sport. So Tyler McGill is working on a new pitch this year that he basically, I'm not going to say stole, but modeled after Kodai Senga's Ghost Fork. That is the aptly named American spork, which really is a splitter or a forkball. And McGill basically asked Kodai Senga, hey, how do you hold this thing? Kodai showed him, and McGill followed the grip with a little manipulation here and there. But he loves the pitch. Jeremy Hefner, pitching coach, says it's the real deal. So 1-2 on Chisholm Jr. Pitch. Just missed high. Tried to backdoor a little slider there. That's 2 balls and 2 strikes. The splitter, if you throw it enough from up here in the booth, you can start to see it just kind of die out before it gets to home plate. It's obviously different than a curve or a slider. Runner at second, 2 outs. Infield back. 2-2. Low and in. Look like that splitter again. And I count 3 balls and 2 strikes. Well, good on McGill, who really did struggle last year, despite the fact that he got a boatload of starts. Ended up going back to the minor leagues and then coming up and feeling like he finished a little stronger at the end of the year. But there's the payoff. Rolled to the air right field. Marte coming in, makes the catch, leaning forward to the side.
So McGill gets out of the inning after the leadoff double. 2 strikeouts. I'm sorry, 1 strikeout from Josh, striking out Josh Bell. Again, Chisholm the line out. Mets are coming up in the bottom of the first. Unfortunately, guys, SNY kind of just crapped out. And they're saying it right now, the program alert. Let's see. Tonight's Mets ball game is currently experiencing technical difficulties. All right, so if you're just tuning in and you wonder why SNY is not showing the Mets game, which they should be, they're having technical difficulties. So as soon as they get it back on, you'll have the TV broadcast. Right now, I have the radio broadcast going. It's not Howie Rose. I think it's Pete McCarthy, if I'm not mistaken, and somebody else that I don't know as of right now. Yeah, Ethan. Well, again, technology is technology. Wi-Fi craps out every now and then as well. We've all dealt with technical difficulties with technology. So it happens, but they'll get it back soon. I think they'll figure it out. Somebody might have stepped on a plug. You never know. Pulled out a plug. But at least we got it here. Again, this is the fun part of doing a live stream during a game, because there's a lot of people that might be out and about at work trying to watch the game on their phones or their computers at work, and they get stuck not being able to watch it. well, at least you get the radio call from here. Or if you're watching the live stream right now, you get game day update. You get the lineup. You get who's pitching right now. You get all that. Okay, good. So apparently the power went down all throughout the ballpark. So they're not even, that's interesting. So they're playing the game without power. Luckily, it's still bright outside and they don't need some lights. So Brandon Nimmo gets a single left field. So we get the radio call is a little bit behind because I'm streaming it right now. So as soon as it comes back, there we go, guys.
Live from the Bigelow Tea broadcast booth.
There we go.
Grab a mug and tea proudly.
So game day's a little bit ahead of the radio call.
Mets and Marlins from Clover Park. He's Pat McCarthy. My name is Keith Brad. Howie Rose will be back with us next weekend.
Pete McCarthy and Keith Brad
on the mound for Miami, facing Brandon Nimmo. First pitch, missed low and away, lefty to lefty for ball one. If you're looking for the colors of this game, you're not going to find them, at least not yet. We had a little power surge here in Port St. Lucie. Next pitch to Nimmo's down and in for ball two. So we welcome potentially a new audience to our game tonight. A 2-0 on Nimmo. Third baseman John Birdie in. Next toss, that's right down the chute for a called strike on Nimmo and count 2-1. So Nimmo in left field again tonight, playing his fifth game of the spring. Infield swung around to the right. 2-1 pitch. Hit hard on the ground through the left side base hit between Birdie and the bag in the left field. Jesus Sanchez picks it up, whips it back in, and that throw keeps Nimmo to a single. Nimmo, of course, with great speed. He's on at first with a leadoff base hit going the other way. Nimmo against the lefty Trevor Rogers. It's one thing that has never, ever faced him, that lefty-lefty setup. Nimmo on. Here's Francisco Lindor, switch hitter batting from the right side. Mets and Marlins scoreless, bottom of the first. Pitch. Strike on the outside corner. Little slider from Trevor Rogers. Count 0-1. These are meaningful at bats for Lindor, a switch hitter, loves game action. When you're a switch hitter in baseball, you're probably facing righties a ton. Tonight, facing a lefty. The 0-1. This is high and away. Got a ball and a strike on Lindor. Pete Alonso on deck. Francisco Alvarez to follow. Lineup tonight, except for Jeff McNeil. This is an everyday regular season lineup tonight for the Mets. Pitch. Outside with a changeup. Count 2-1. Same can be said for Miami, who defensively has Jesus Sanchez in left, Jazz Chisholm Jr. in center, Ivisael Garcia in right. Rogers set at the belt. 2-1 pitch. Fouled straight back to the net. Count 2-2. On the infield for Skip Schumacher, he's got John Birdie at third. Tim Anderson, 1 year, $5 million.
So it is 2 outs. Pete Alonso strikes out. Francisco Lindor flies out the center.
Jake Berger at first, and Nick Fortes catching.
Once again, guys, the radio call is a little bit about a batter behind.
Popped up foul, first base side, that fades towards the seats. That says 2-2 on Lindor. It never leaves those colors behind, even in spring. Mets are wearing their blue tops with the orange Mets inscript across the chest. But for Lindor, neon orange cleats tonight. Rogers is 2-2. Look in the air, shallow center. Here comes Chisholm on the run, makes the catch toward right center. And there's one away. So 1 on and 1 out. Bottom of the first inning, no score. And here's Pete Alonso.
Kickman also. Awesome.
You talked about.
Well, at least you can find me on Twitter too.
Today, stuff like that. Pete was unbelievable. That's entertaining a young man from Massapequa. Pitch. Strike down the middle with a fastball. 0-1. Mason Meyer from Massapequa, who's now in remission. He's just 7 years old. He had to deal with leukemia. He was a Met for a day. 0-1 on Alonso. Pitch. Fouled at home plate. Alonso reaching for that changeup down and away. As Pete Anderson.
So the radio stream, guys, is about a batter behind.
And he's looking to put together a big year, but he's also looking to totally reduced what just happened there, which is chasing out of the zone. 0-2, runner at first, pitch. Caught on and missed, got him with a breaking ball. So Trevor Rogers goes 3 pitches to put Alonso away. And after the Nimmo single the other way, there's 2 down for Francisco Alvarez. Well, with Alonso into his walk here, question is who's going to protect him? Who's going to bat behind him? At the end of last year, there really wasn't an answer after the trade deadline. But Alvarez might be the guy. He's flashed a lot of power this spring. Pitch. Right down the middle, snapped to first base. Nimmo dives in safely. 0-1 on Francisco Alvarez. We were given a little tip before the game with those Miami Marlins that they're really working on limiting the running game this year. I said they were terrible at it last year. So there'll be a lot of throws over and back pick attempts. The 0-1 bounces in the dirt, gets by Fortes, but Nimmo didn't get a great read, so he stays at first. Fortes blocks it, and that's 1-1.
I'm curious now that we are going to have an entire spring training where everybody's accustomed to these rules, nobody's leaving for the WBC. If teams are going to continue to work on that more, they worked on it obviously during the season, but it's hard. There's not as much practice time during the season. So I'm curious if we'll see a lot more teams try to control the running game with different implementations during spring training.
Rogers is set, the 1-1. Swing and a miss on a high pitch. Alvarez a little timid on that cut, maybe expecting something, but got the fastball instead of the breaking ball.
All right, guys. So Alvarez did strike out, but I'll let you finish listening to the radio call until the commercial
comes.
comes.
The first inning, runner at first with 2 down. 1-2. Left up high, a fastball that Alvarez spits on. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes on Alvarez. Now, Alvarez, a couple days ago against the Nationals, he was controlling the running game himself, who had 3 base runners. He was excellent, but it's basically impossible these days. 2-2, ball in the dirt. Alvarez lays off and earns a 3-ball, 2-strike count. So you see it with catchers, as Pat mentioned, the back pick. So basically a runner at first base like Nimmo is now. The catcher receives a pitch and immediately throws down to try to pick off the runner. Anything that they can do to help. Alvarez calls for time. As even catchers at their great pop times, JT Realmuto, Francisco Alvarez, Patrick Bailey out in San Francisco, even with the elite pop times, guys are stealing left and right because of the new rules. The limit on pickoffs, just these big leads that runners get. Rogers ready, kicks and throws to first base, and Nimmo back in safely. So that is disengagement number 1, despite the fact that there was a catcher back pick attempt. So again, all these things to keep Nimmo focused on leaning back to first instead of getting a nice secondary lead at first. Payoff pitch, swing and a miss. A fastball down and in, beats out.
All right, guys. So as you know, Alvarez strikes out. Once again, if you're trying to watch it on SNY, they're having technical difficulties. Oh, they're back, guys. They're back. Here we go. Finally, they're back on SNY.
Expecting a surge of electricity tonight with Edwin Diaz making his return.
SNY is back, guys. SNY is back. Top of the second, 21 pitches for McGill.
It's Tim Anderson swinging first pitch.
And Tim Anderson hits a home run to right field, just over the wall.
Tim Anderson gives the Marlins a 1-0 lead right off the bat here in the second. And Tampa before a batting chance with the White Sox. Had a tough year last year. It's really one of the few pickups for the Marlins. Marlins didn't make a lot of moves. They let their team in home runs. They were last in the National League in runs scored. But there, yes, that's got to be a good sign for the Marlins. They need a bounce back year from him. Never a huge power guy, but for the most part, had double-digit home runs most seasons in his career. Only 1 home run a year ago for Tim Anderson in over 500 plate appearances. Here's Jesus Sanchez, second up for the Marlins. And just to finish what we were talking about, so there was a power surge. It seems like there was a power surge all throughout the ballpark. Right. Knocked out the power in Clover Park for a short period of time. They were able to get the scoreboard and everything back up. We had to get our truck working again, so we missed about an inning, but didn't miss any scoring. Just to give an update, Luis Arise led the game off with a double, and then Tyler McGill got Josh Bell, Jake Berger, and Jazz Chisholm, 1, 2, 3. In the bottom half, Brandon Nimmo led off with a single, and then Lindor, Alonso, and Alvarez went down 1, 2, 3.
So now you're up to speed. And you didn't miss Edwin Diaz. He still, the reinforcements are coming.
He's lurking. The trumpets, let's just hope. The trumpets we heard may make an appearance tonight. Let's hope that it didn't knock anything out there.
And we were very lucky that when the power went out, there was a pop in our ear and our headphones. And that could have been a loud pop. Who knows what would have done to our eardrums.
Ground ball.
Oh, nice play. Nice play by Wendell. Dive in, make that play, 1 out. Nice play.
If we got the net defense in already, did we not? It's been such a, I think we did. Nice play in the holder, nice backhand. Wendell's always had a good glove, a little spark plug type player. Good speed, play all, second, short, third.
So here's Avisel Garcia. Breaking ball, swinging strike, 0-1. And talking about players that the Marlins need more from, Garcia is front and center. Signed a 4-year deal, $53 million prior to 2022 with the Marlins. And he has been a big disappointment for them. Injuries and effectiveness. He's only played 135 games of the last 2 seasons, hitting .215 with a .576 OPS.
It has not worked out for the Marlins thus far. And just to kind of reboot here on McGill, we mentioned in the open, keep an eye on his splitter. It's a new pitch. And the cutter he's throwing into left-handers, which to me, I never liked a hard cutter from a right-hander coming in on my fist. So we'll keep an eye on that. Those are 2 pitches that he's developed. And there it is right there. There's the cutter.
He's also added a sweeper, too. So he had the slider, and he's added a sweeper as well. So he's got a very different arsenal heading into this season. And so far, the early returns have been positive. Just spring training, but he's been good. It's that ground ball.
Go that splitter.
Lindor. He's got
2 outs.
Garcia just trots down to first base.
It was not even a trot. That's low riding right there in low gear. Well, he's a fastball pitcher, and I think the off-speed see 50%, but it wasn't. He started throwing the splitter late in the season, and he's a power guy. 1 speed. I think this if he can develop a very effective change of pace, it's going to help him.
John Birdie, first pitch swinging into right field, base hit.
What new with Birdie? Birdie's always been kind of a thorn in the side of the Metsies. Another player like Wendell. Guys have been playing in various positions on the infield. Fast.
There's pitching coach Jeremy Hefner, who has been more than pleased with what McGill's done so far this spring. And, he said to me, even before the Senga injury, we were talking early in spring training. He said, keep an eye out for McGill. He looks different this year.
Well, he's come in shape. He's fit as a fiddle, I'll tell you that. And fiddles are in shape.
Yeah, Fiddles are in fantastic shape.
Always wondered about that.
Known for the athleticism.
Where did that come from?
The report says the 9th batter, catching today for the Marlins. And there goes Birdie.
And Alvarez guns him out again. Alvarez has been outstanding throwing out runners at second base. And that is the 3rd out of the inning. So Mets get out of the inning. 2 scoreless innings for Tyler McGill. And Francisco Alvarez has just been outstanding throwing out runners defensively as well. Nice to see Alvarez with these new rules. It's not easy for catchers anymore to throw out base runners. And I think he's thrown out 4 or 5 base runners in spring training so far. So that's always nice to see. Well, Easy, you know what? It's not just the media loves Jeremy Hefner. around Major League Baseball, a lot of teams like Jeremy Hefner. There were some teams that were trying to steal Jeremy Hefner away from the Mets. So it's not just the Mets and the media. A lot of organizations like Jeremy Hefner. His philosophy is what teams like. And, everybody loved Jeremy Hefner in 2022 when Tyler McGill and David Peterson was doing their thing when Scherzer was hurt and DeGrom was out, right? Last year was more about injuries than, can you blame Jeremy Hefner for something last year? I mean, probably not. You can't blame him for 2023 and not give him credit for 2022, right? Well, easy. I mean, it's hard to blame Hefner for an injury-plagued season. And, if you're going to not give him credit for 2022, then you can't blame him for 2023, right? I think you could be fair in that aspect. But we'll see, right? This is a test for Jeremy Hefner, right? This rotation is definitely a test for him. If they pitch pretty well, are you going to give him credit, or are you just going to give credit to the pitchers? Because again, you're not going to blame the pitchers for last year and blame Hefner. You got to give him credit for 2022 because he did an outstanding job considering that 2/5 of the rotation was not healthy with DeGrom and Scherzer. So Marte is up at the plate in the bottom of the second. 3 hits for the Marlins, 1 hit for the Mets. Marlins lead 1-0 for a Tim Anderson home run.
Pretty representative for the Mets this evening. Joey Wendell.
Well, Peterson was good in 2022. McGill was good in 2022. Drew Smith could just suck. Pitching coaches just can't change every pitcher.
Garcia there.
So once again, guys, we'll go through the live stream about 5 or 6 innings. Again, getting back in the groove of watching the entire game on a live stream. So once a little after Diaz comes in, the stream will end in probably about an inning after that.
So with a right-hand hitter up, he can see out of the corner of his eye.
Brett Beatty's up and 1 out in the bottom of the second.
Lift the leg and get ready to hit a throwing position. A left-hand hitter could block his view, and then it's incumbent. I always said, there he goes. You're not the first one to know. I'm holding the runner.
I like to see Brett Beatty going against a lefty here.
Command or alert, I should say, be loud enough for Alvarez to hear, and then you can lift the knee.
So it's critical then for the first baseman or somebody on the infield, yes, to give you the verbal cue because you can't see that the runner's going necessarily when it's a lefty in the box.
There can't be enough guys saying, there he goes. When you got 50,000 people in a ballpark and it's loud, and there goes the runner. If all 4 of your infield position players say, there he goes, all the better.
Brett Beatty fouls that one into the screen.
That is a quick release, folks, and that throw was his best throw of camp. Can't do any better.
And you heard the verbal cues there in that replay too. Sounded like multiple people missed.
So that's going to be an infield hit for Beatty.
So Beatty's got the infield signal. But a great job by the Mets. In the top half of the second inning to make sure their catcher heard that the runner's going as well. So,
well, you take those in there, you can get them.
So here comes Mark Vientos, who's on a nice little hot streak, 2 for 4 2 days ago. Yesterday hit a home run.
Like Rogers, he came up. He's the #1 draft pick out of high school out of Carlsbad, New Mexico. And 21, he was 7-8 and had a 2.64 earned run average and 25 starts. The next year he came back, he just had a 22, it was 4-11, ERA over 5. And last year he only pitched in 4 games.
Only made 4 starts before going on the IL in late April with a bicep strain. Then he had a setback as he was rehabbing prior to his final rehab outing on June 10th when he strained his right lat. Missed the remainder of the season. Like you said, Keith, he was great in his rookie season. Finished runner-up, NL Rookie of the Year in 21, And right now, he's competing for a spot in this rotation. Beatty on the
That
ground.
might be a double play to end it. And oh, bad throw. Safe. Bad throw by Birdie. Beatty safe. Viento safe. First and second, one out for the Mets. Down by one.
You can look at the shadows. The sun is over the third base line. Let's take a look here. I mean, that's just a bad throw from Birdie.
He's shielding his eyes, so he can't see.
But he had it though, and he did the right thing. That's pretty heads up right there. And that's a routine play. That's a Birdie good punch.
So the Mets with an opportunity to out, 2 on, 1 out. Joey Wendell, the former Marlin, in his first season with the Mets. Wendell coming off his least productive offensive year last year. Hit just .212 in Miami. Missed 30 games early in the year with an intercostal strain and just never really was able to get on track.
I like this young man. I think he's going to have a bounce back year if he can stay healthy. Not overpowering, but he's a left-hander. And he knows what he's doing out there. I was very much impressed with him. It was just stunning to see him have that 4-11 year.
The 1-2. That slider misses. Well, it's important for this Marlins team that they get something out of Trevor Rogers because they are built on their pitching. And right now, there are some early question marks. Edwin Cabrera yesterday got pulled before throwing a pitch for his start. Just misses there.
First and second, one out. Joey Wendell up at the plate. Bottom second, 1-0 Marlins.
Update yet, but right shoulder soreness for Edwin Cabrera.
A lot of pitch injuries for the Marlins right now.
Season on the IL, Contra will miss all of 2024 after undergoing Tommy John.
And Wendell strikes out outside corner. Here comes Bader with 2 outs.
He likes that outside corner against the lefty, that's for sure. You look at 3 guys in your starting rotation, probably needs some good year for them last year. First year as a Marlin, left-hander. Was this first year from Oakland?
Last season, I believe last season was his first full year.
Yeah. They got a year
in Perez, that was the debut last year.
Right. So, they can't afford, no one can afford to get to lose in any of their rotations. And it's tough to fill 5 spots.
Bader pops it up. That might cause some trouble. No, it ends the inning. Mets don't score in the bottom of the second. And the Mets lead a trail by 1. Easy, I agree with you. Well, you see what Bader was trying to do there, right? He was trying to hit the ball to right field. So I like to see Bader do that. So he was trying to do that. He just got under the ball there. So going to the top of the third, 1-0 Marlins. We are waiting for the debut and the return of Edwin Diaz. A year since the last time he's pitched. 20 pitches he'll have to throw today. That is the plan is to throw 20 pitches. And after that, I'm assuming they'll go to 25 pitches to 30 pitches and probably get to like 35 to 40 by the time the end of spring training happens. And he'll be ready to go on opening day. And yeah, opening day is the day game. The first 3 games of the season are all day games, all 140 games. The Mets are not doing 110 games this year at home. They're doing 140 games this year. So the Thursday opening day, Saturday and Sunday against the Brewers are all 140 day games. And then the Mets play the Tigers Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And they're all night games, including Getaway Day is a night game. So we get 3 day games, 3 night games in the first 6 games of the season. I'll take that every day of the week. Even though it's kind of tough for me to do day games, even though I'm going to the first 2 games of the year, I think Chris CP is going to the Saturday game, the 30th. So we're probably going to do a pregame from the parking lot of Citi Field. All right, so Mets, the Marlins are coming up in the top of the third. McGill's still on the mound, 1-0 Marlins.
1-0 off the back of Tim Anderson leadoff home run, the bottom of the second, top of the second. By the way, we should make a quick correction. We said Luzardo's first full season with the Marlins was last year. It was actually 2 years ago. So his first full season with the Marlins 2 years ago.
Right. So Gary Cohen at home, don't have to text us.
He knew we'd correct it. We went to commercial break. I was waiting for the uppercase second year. Good Cortez, the batter. Ground ball to the left side.
All right, one out.
One down. By the way, we also should update you on Minute to Fiddle. So someone sent you the origin, but it doesn't sound like there's still an answer with this text that you got.
Let me find it. It's a compliment. That's for sure. Its origins are in the 1600s, or the year 1600. They got it down precisely. But its expression is a way to say that something was correct or proper. It first started appearing around the year 1600. It's a compliment. That's from my good friend, Edwin Diaz.
Luis Ariz, the leadoff double in the first inning. It's 1-1. See, I would think that the reason it has to do with being in good shape, maybe fiddles, the strings are pulled tight, something like that.
Well,
maybe?
Chris,
I have no idea.
I mean, a pitcher's ballpark is a pitcher's ballpark. Citi Field plays big, but
1-1.
I don't think a lot of pitchers play to the ballpark anymore. I just think they throw what makes them feel comfortable, and depending on what type of lineup it is, they pitch differently. I don't think it's about the ballpark anymore, unfortunately.
What a season.
Ground ball, right to Beatty.
Beatty
2 outs.
makes the play 2-0. Yeah, he was something special. That's one of the.
Oh, explosive. I agree. I don't like seeing injuries. I don't root for injuries. But yeah, Yankee fans are in panic mode right now, which they should be. Let's be honest. Like it's, if we were in that position, right, we were concerned about Senga, right? I mean, Cole is their ace, and their pitching is already questionable. So yeah, it's panic mode right now. MRI to the elbow, probably not a good sign. He's probably definitely missing opening day because they're gonna probably shut him down regardless of what they find on the MRI. And KTO, I have no idea. The Boris clients, man, I tell you. So Tyler McGill has 44 pitches right now in the third with 2 outs.
DJ Megill was on 2016 with the Rockies, and then he did with the Yanks.
Uh-oh. That might stay in the ballpark, and it does. Nimmo catches it to retire the side. 1-0 Marlins going to the bottom of the third. I believe Tyler McGill is going to get one more inning to probably get up to like 60 pitches. So give me 1 second, guys. All right, guys. So McGill's probably going to get one more inning, probably pitch about 60 pitches, as I believe that's what they talked about. At least Steve, that they put in the game report. Diaz will be the third pitcher coming into the game. So I forgot who they said the second pitcher was going to be. I don't think I have it right now, but so it's going to be McGill, another pitcher, and then Diaz. So I'm assuming Diaz will probably come in the 6th or 7th inning. And yeah, Easy judges another one that he's already missing games. That is precautionary as well, because that toe is going to be a big problem. And the Mets are going through, the Yankees are going through it right now. But you know what? Could we be honest right now? It's about time the Yankees get a huge scare before opening day, because it's usually the Mets, right? I think we can all understand and believe that. But like I said, I don't root for injuries. But I already know I got a big group chat with a lot of my coworkers. I told you this many times. A lot of them are Yankee fans. A couple of Met fans in the group chat. Like, don't think I didn't text them right away. Be like, oh, look, an injury to your ace. Oh, imagine that. So yeah, I give a little jab to my coworker Yankee fans, but hey, it's fair game. I've got it all last year. All right, guys, bottom of the third, 1-0 Marlins. Brendan Nimmo leading off.
Knowing the number of outs and saying there were 2 away, so we couldn't go to break immediately at the end of the top half of the third. We missed the first pitch. Now you saw the second. It's 1-1. No harm, no foul. Little harm, little foul.
And Steve showing his age, or me showing my age, is not over the different 12. You've got no one in the truck, which is I must be old.
Are we doing SNY polls? I wonder how many out there. No,
And Nimmo strikes out.
Missed strike 3. So Nimmo down swinging.
Not Nimmo, excuse me. I'm really sure. He likes that outside corner against lefties. That's something, if you're on the bench and you're watching, every left-hander is faced, and there's 4 of them in this order.
Shot right up the middle. Nice play by Rise on the backhand to make the out. 2 gone.
Beautiful play by Rise. He's a good fielder. But you always want to watch how a left-hander pitches from your left-hander. See how he's pitching to lefty? That's a beautiful play right there.
Rise is a good ball player. So 2 away for Pete Alonso. Got the changeup.
Fastball. We went right after him. Wow. And Pete was looking first ball fastball. Keep the ball away.
Pete struck out in the first inning. There's another one. Count over 2.
Got Pete with a changeup his first time up, striking him out.
He fights that one off. Alonso 7 for 23 to start the spring with 5 doubles and a pair of home runs. 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, but a nice start to spring for the Mets slugger. Missed strike 3.
And Alonso strikes out to end the bottom of the third. Mets still trail 1-0. Top of the 4th coming up. And it looks like Tyler McGill is going to get that other inning. And then it'll be another pitcher. And then it'll be Edwin Diaz, the highly anticipated return of our closer. For a year ago, around this time, Diaz blew his knee out in a celebration at the WBC. Yeah, easy. I know. But it is what it is. All right, guys. Just give me a second. So once again, guys, this is probably going to be around a stream that's going to end around the 6th. Whenever Diaz finishes pitching, that's when we'll call it a stream. Getting it a little closer and closer, that when we get closer to opening day, we'll add on those innings for the stream. And then by the time opening day comes, I'll be at the game, so I won't be live streaming during opening day, but we'll have a pregame. I'll be at Citi Field tailgating with the 7 line while I'm doing a pregame with Chris on opening day. We'll probably do it early in the morning, a few hours before the game, because I want to get inside Citi Field somewhat early. Hey, Maddie, what's up? Ibby in the chat. How you doing, buddy? The party's all day, every day when it's Mets baseball. Make sure you check Ibby and Till Mets Do Us Part. And they're, I believe, every Wednesday. So make sure you tune into that with him and John. All right, guys. So going to the top of the fourth, 1-0 Marlins. Trevor Rogers has been pitching pretty well against the Mets. Couple of strikeouts. But today's game is all about the appearance of Edwin Diaz. And that's why we're here today. They're doing a live stream. Ibby, any day, buddy. Anytime. All right, so McGill is on the mound for the fourth inning. Again, he's probably going to go to 60 pitches and call it a night. So we'll see how Megill finishes here.
Traded to the Marlins at the deadline last year from the White Sox and really performed well in his time with Miami. 860 OPS from August 1st until the end of the season. That led all players that were traded at the deadline. The 1-1. Taken on the outside corner. Count 1-2.
Good spot right there. Behind. On the block. And you can see the grip with the new split finger now. A lot of pitchers we see do this is they have that split finger grip when they look in for the sign so they don't tip it off. You have to really dig in for the split finger if you got it in the fastball grip. So
You got him.
not to tip the pitch off.
Oh, didn't go.
Guys, I don't know if we can get another shot in the truck of McGill setting up with his grip. But when I was talking to McGill about the pitch, he was showing me how his fingers are so big.
Yes.
That one of the reasons that he was intrigued by throwing that split finger is it is no issue for him to split his fingers on that ball.
Now, what makes it interesting for me is, okay, you've got a split finger grip in your glove, but when you throw the split finger, you've got to move the hands to go to a fastball grip or a curveball. If you just keep the ball in the glove, and there's no movement, then does the hitter know?
And that's, oh, nice play by Marte running that ball down. 1 out. Marte just looks healthy. He wasn't running like that in the outfield last year at all.
He can put his fingers on the side of the baseball. He said it's actually sometimes to a point where he has to remember not to go so far on the side of the ball that it's too much. Judge Chisholm, that ball should reach the seats, and it does, 0-1. So we talk about the split finger with McGill and the cutter, the sweeper, the additions that he's made, but I think something else that's been really encouraging early this spring for McGill is the walks. He hasn't walked anybody yet tonight. Only 2 walks in parts of 4 outings so far this spring, and the walks were way up for McGill last year. Walked over 10% of the batters he faced.
Oh, where was that pitch?
Into a lot of trouble with a 1.575 last year.
Yeah, over 4 walks, per 9. That is going to get you in a lot of traffic to deal with.
The 1-1 to Chisholm.
With Pregame. Uh-oh.
Well, look who's
Oh,
walking
they're
in.
showing Edwin Diaz walking around, going to the bullpen.
Megill was expected to go 4 innings or between about 60 to 65 pitches. Mets are going to get Edwin Diaz a clean inning. So if you went long here, Michael Talkin would probably come on in relief. But assuming McGill gets out of this, the next pitcher you would see for the Mets would be Edwin Diaz for the first time in a year. What do you think's going through his mind right now? I know it's not the regular season, but what do you think's going through his mind?
He's a veteran. He knows that he's healthy. He's pitched a couple minor league games.
So they did change up
Some inter-squad
the
games.
pitching lineup for today. Diaz will be the second pitcher out.
He's going to be a little bit nervous out there in the beginning, but I'm sure he's championing at the bit.
The 2-2, ground ball, Charging in is Wendell.
All right, 2 outs for
Easy play. 2 away.
McGill. 58 pitches, as they just said, 60 to 65 pitches for
I
McGill.
spoke a little bit with Diaz prior to the game today. I had to get in line. There were about 7 reporters wanted a quick chat. But he admitted that this is a different feel than any other spring game for him. A big accomplishment to be back. So it's a big day for not just him, for his family as well. Jim Anderson. Big tackle.
I believe the Mets fans were chanting Edwin Diaz, if I'm not mistaken.
Clock violation.
Clock violation from McGill. Oh, how you love those rules.
1-1. Sidney Buckner called the infraction. Tim Anderson, the only offense on the evening so far, solo home run to lead off the second. Takes that one just on the outside. 2-1. So if Tyler McGill can be this version, that's just going to be a huge, huge boon for a Mets rotation that, quite frankly, is the biggest question mark heading into this season. Now, they've performed really well so far this spring, but you got to take everything with a grain of salt in spring training. The 3-1.
Nice pitch. That's a nice pitch. On a hitter's count right there, nice pitch. They're chanting overrated for Tim Anderson. I don't know why, but that's kind of odd, but yikes. And he strikes out. And McGill ends the inning, 4 innings, 1 run, 3 hits. And the Mets fans chanted overrated for Tim Anderson. I don't know why that started. I'm assuming he was probably doing something pregame to the Mets fans, I guess. But that was a pretty loud chant for Tim Anderson. But got him with the fastball to end his outing. 4 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, couple of strikeouts. Another nice performance by Tyler McGill. Tyler McGill will probably have 2 more starts before opening day. And I think I'm not getting ahead of myself here. I think Tyler McGill is probably going to make the opening day roster. And I said this yesterday on the Spring Training Talk Live that if you look at the plan for every 5th day, Severino lines up for opening day. Now, that can change with off days, depending on how they schedule certain games. It's a possibility that it could change a little bit, but Tyler McGill is probably another option. Again, I have no problem with Severino, McGill, or Quintana on opening day. I think if everybody's pitching well, I don't mind going with the veteran in Quintana. I don't mind giving Severino a vote of confidence. And why not give McGill 3rd year in a row on opening day? Panthers, no, we lost the last game. Yep, good outing from McGill. But it would be interesting. Yeah, we did win the last 2, yeah. But it would be nice to see McGill. I would like to put McGill out there for the 3rd year, but I wouldn't be mad if it's Severino either. I think Severino goes on confidence. And when he's confident, I think he's confident in his stuff. Well, Mike, yeah, that's the other thing as well. But, and they're showing Diaz warming up in the backfield bullpen right now. So he will be coming out next. But, yeah, again, farther along. But, again, you can ramp it up pretty quickly. McGill's already up to, 65 pitches? By his next start, he'll probably get closer to 80. All right, so Max Mayer's on the mound for the Marlins, and Alvarez is leading off. 1-0 Marlins.
known for his wipeout slider. There it is. High 80s. Gets Alvarez swinging up two.
To the University of Minnesota. Gopher.
By Paul Molitor, the highest pick in Golden Gophers history. Look at that crowd, Keith.
Yep, well,
They're all watching Edwin Diaz get warm.
Thanks, Eric. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Now, that was a crushing moment for this team, this fan base last year. And I don't even realize, or I don't think that the team even realized at the moment just how big of an impact it would have. Both emotionally and certainly on the field with the way that bullpen had to slot into place.
What I like to see from Alvarez this spring already is that he's not swinging at those bad pitches. He's working the counts a lot more than he did last year, which I like to see.
Just something lacking last year that the Mets are excited to expect. That is a big league pop if I've ever seen one. Tim Anderson waits.
One out.
you said that this young man, Max Snyder, the pitcher,
Martel. No.
has a wipeout slider.
I think SNY is not going to go to commercial while Diaz comes out.
Yeah, he's a real top of the rotation potential arm. That slider's his bread and butter, but his fastball is right. It's between 94 and 96. He's got a changeup that has been getting better, at least was getting better as he started his pro career.
Oh, that might be gone.
Deep to center field, going back his chip.
Oh, just missed the home run
Runs it down, a nice
at the edge.
for the second out of the inning.
Just missed the wall, and he gets it at the crease of the warning track. That was a shot, but this is a big ballpark.
They are fearless. Not the ball didn't go on the nets. A nice play. Remember, he came
2 outs.
as a second baseman.
Brett Beatty's up.
He said that last year he didn't really feel like a center fielder. He felt like an infielder that was trying to learn center field. But this spring, he's come to spring feeling like he is now a center fielder. Brett Beatty up for the second time tonight. Singled in the second inning.
Ground ball should end the inning, and that ends the inning. So Mets go 1, 2, 3, and Edwin Diaz, his return. Let's see if SNY stays. And yes, they're staying on SNY. Here comes Diaz. Uh-oh. They got Narco going to play. Here we go, guys. He's back. There he goes. There he goes. Standing ovation for Diaz.
Your attention, please. Now pitching for the New York Mets, number 39, Edwin Diaz.
Nice ovation by the fans. He does look a little nervous. It's been a year since he pitched. I'd be nervous too. But let's see how he goes. And of course, the song Narco is going to give this stream copyrighted, but that's okay. It's worth it.
Came out to the field.
You know, Keith, I got to be honest with you. I got some goosebumps. I really did. I really did when I heard the Narcos and.
Mike, I think he's going to throw that, to be honest with you. He's just a natural hard thrower.
It was such a scene up at City Field, so much electricity. I mean, that City trumpet came out. Yeah, play at one point. Remember that. It's great to see him back out there. I know it's not the
All right, here we go.
It's a big deal. 4 days shy of 1 year.
See what Edwin Diaz got. 20 pitches is the plan for him in his first game back.
118 strikeouts, faced 235 batters. It was an incredible year. From 18 walks.
Woo! 98. And it gets CB Buckner. Good. He sucks as an umpire. Right in the chest.
So you got to
That's all right. Suck it up. Call a better game. So first pitch, and Diaz has to wait.
They got it right in the collarbone. I don't think it got him. I thought it got him more in the rib cage. Maybe it did. Oof. I thought it got him in the rib cage.
Jeez.
Let's take a listen to this.
Ooh, that was solid. Ouch. Ooh, ricochet.
Of Alvarez. Oh, ouch.
Call a better game, CB. Ouch. All right, here we go. Let's get Diaz back in the game.
Talking about a first pitch back for Edwin Diaz. Everyone experiencing that 98-mile-per-hour heat. I can tell from the central camera that was some serious cheddar. You imagine he's pretty juiced up right now. The adrenaline's got to be flowing for Diaz.
Little under that slider there.
Well, Diaz said this isn't just a big day for him, a big day for his family, who he wishes could be here, but his wife is about to go into labor. It's his far inside. 2-1. Diaz is expecting child number 3 in about 2 weeks. So she's at home watching in New York. So we say hello to her. Hope she's doing okay. And she watches her husband here. Back.
Ooh, there's the nice slider.
And he's looking as sharp as ever. He looks like he's in 22 form.
Ooh.
That is wicked. Fastball misses high. The count full of 3-2.
And he strikes him out with the slider. 1 out.
With the slider, just filthy.
That was a nasty slider, man. Woo.
Strikeout. Welcome back, Edwin Diaz.
Oh, first batter he faced, he strikes him out. Look at that sharp slider. Woo. Nasty.
Perfect spot. Starts out around an inch on the strike zone and then breaks 6 inches inside. Can't hit it. Here's Garcia.
He's feeling that slider now.
Slider. Really looking gross here. Count 0-1. Fastball misses high. It's really hard to believe that year he had in 2019, his first year in New York, just anything that could go wrong went wrong for him.
Woo.
Up and in fastball.
That was a running fastball.
It just took a while to get his sea legs in New York. Boy, did he turn it on. Says a lot about him.
Woo. Another slider. 2 outs. 2 up, 2 down, 2 strikeouts.
2 outs.
Can't tell me this team did not miss that this last year.
The strike zone. Sliders. It just shows how the velocity and how tight the break is and how late Sharp. It's hard for him to lay off. John Birdie, the next up to take a shot at Diaz. That fastball just clips the outside corner 0-1. Diaz is one of the elite in the game. 3 seasons with a sub-2 ERA. That fastball just misses on the inside. Can't even at 1-1. Like I was saying, Keith, you know, that 2019 year, first season in New York, it's broken a lot of people. And he stuck with it, bounced back, and regained his stuff. And has a chance here to strike out the side.
Strikes him out. Strikes out the side. First time back, makes his return. 3 strikeouts. All swinging. He is back. Love to see that. All right, guys. So Edwin Diaz pitched his inning. Dominant. Strikeouts, sliders, fastballs. Little wild in the first batter, but figured it out rather quickly, and that's what we missed in 2023. That was a big deal, and people didn't realize how big of a deal it was until you see how great it was. So that is another stream in spring training, guys. We are going to call it a night. I'm going to go watch the Rangers and Devils that are playing just now. Going to be a fun game, and I think the Rangers just score. Oh, no, they didn't. Oh, the Rangers scored. 1-0 Rangers. Panarin. All right, guys. So we saw Edwin Diaz be dominant. 3 strikeouts. Mets are still trailing 1-0. We're going to have a couple of streams over the next couple of days, couple of live streams during games, and a couple of spring training talk lives over the next couple of days during this week. So make sure you tune in. Thank you for tuning in to another Mets Watch Party, Mets versus Marlins. Everybody have a great night. As always, Mets fans, let's go Mets. I'll see you next time. Have a great night.
Meet the Mets, step